Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chessboard Baseball. This is APO, and we are now 75 games through the 2026 season, and it's time to do some ranking. So, we're going to rank the players from number 15 to number 1 according to Chessboard Baseball and their score. So, really quickly, I don't want to get too much into how the system works and everything like that, but I developed this player evaluation system last year. I started with basketball and then I moved into baseball. And what I do is I grade every individual plate appearance. So every plate appearance has an individual score assigned to it. So one player striking out will yield a different score because not every strikeout is created equal. So I do that every single plate appearance. I grade every single pitch, every single outcome, and this is only for offensive players. I don't do this for pitchers, but I do assign every score. So when you hear commentators say, "Oh wow, that was a great plate appearance and it resulted in an out," well, how do you quantify that? How do you grade that? How can you assign a score so that you can show, yeah, this was actually, according to this system, this was a great plate appearance. So that is what Chessboard Baseball is, which weighs process a little bit heavier than result, but you still get process plus result, and that equals a Chessboard Baseball score. And then that score gets averaged through, I accumulate all the scores and I average them out for an individual Chessboard Baseball rating, which is what we have. And I've done that now for the first 75 games of the Dodgers this season, and I am going to show who the leaders are for the Dodgers this year. There's some surprises here. There are some that you might, question the entire system. And I mean, I'm also learning. This is the first season that I use this system, and I'm surprised myself. And I find myself sometimes scratching my head over some of these outcomes. But I think this is the beauty of the system as well. It's that not the people that you expect to be at the top are going to be at the top, and maybe some people that you expect to be closer to the top maybe towards the bottom. So, and I mean, and this is just a way maybe we can initiate some conversation about players and evaluations, and what is the value that some players bring versus the value that others bring. So that's it for the intro, and without further ado, let's get into the rankings. All right, so here we go. Starting with number 15, through 75 games of the season, it's Santiago Espinal. So in this one, I think the system agrees, right? I think we all can agree that Santiago Espinal, not that he was the worst player, I don't want to say that, a 791 Chessboard Baseball rating for work average is respectable. I think this is nice. The problem right now is that I'm only grading the Dodgers, so I wish I could compare Espinal to maybe other players or other players on other teams and see how he's performed, but I can only compare right now because I'm only doing Dodgers to other Dodgers players. And right now he's number 15. Now he's 15 by quite a big, I mean, he's last by quite a big margin. Right now the lowest score that I have is 791, and the highest score is 11 something. So it's really the rating, it's between, I guess, that 8 and 11, and then all the players are falling in between that. So 791, and you'll see the number 14 what score they have. But anyways, he had a 268 batting average, which isn't terrible. 651 OPS, and you'll see lower OPSs that are way higher. But again, it's all about process quality and approach at the plate. Now, he only had 60 plate appearances that we can see. That 60 plate appearances is towards the lowest ones. The only players that I've left out of this ranking are Kike Hernandez and Tommy Edman. Oh, and Chucky Robinson, because it's less than 6 plate appearances for all of them combined. But so 60 plate appearances, one of the lowest that you see on this list. So may not be fair, but in those 60 plate appearances, Santiago Espinal did get 1 home run. He had 7 RBI, and his exit velocity wasn't that impressive, right? So 86.2. a rating, chessboard baseball rating of 791, and you get 86.2 exit velo. So not a ton of production, but he was fine. I mean, Santiago Espinal wasn't terrible, so I wouldn't say, oh man, this guy was bad. It's just that compared to everyone else in the roster, I can understand, the DFA thing. And I guess the Dodgers knew, right? I mean, I think everyone knew, regardless of how he maybe would have performed, unless he was like homering every game. I think Espinal, the organization, and everyone knew that this was a temporary agreement and that he'd be part of the team for just a little bit until the big boys came back. And now everybody's kind of slowly starting to come right back. So, but yeah, number 15, Santiago Espinal for chessboard baseball. So now we move on to number 14. And number 14 it's surprisingly another player that has been optioned, that was with the team and with 131 plate appearances, and that he is on Kim. And Kim was fine, but you see the difference here. Rating is 871 and Espinal was 791. So Kim was almost a full point above Espinal. And again, this doesn't, chessboard baseball is not like war, right? That it's telling you, like the actual value of a player, whether they're good or bad. Chessboard baseball is pretty much grading the quality of plate appearances by all of these players, with a heavy emphasis on result. I mean, with a heavy emphasis on process, not so much result. And Kim's process, it's not that it was terrible. Now, he wasn't yielding that many results, especially for 131 plate appearances. And he was prone to, chasing, and he was prone to having some ugly plate appearances as far as bad strikeouts and things like that. And then you combine that with 85.8 exit velo, so he wasn't really hitting the ball that hard. 1 home run, 11 RBI in 131 plate appearances. I think that's what does it. But his batting average was fine, actually a lot better than a lot of the other players that you're going to see who are way above him. OPS of 651. It's not bad either. So, number 14 for Kim, and he's been optioned. And the debate, this was a tough decision too. The debate was always Freeland versus Kim. And you can see games and you can go back and forth every game. I don't think the Dodgers are going to sleep, or the Dodgers organization are going to sleep, feeling amazing about their decision to send down Kim and stick to Freeland. But someone had to be sent down. And yeah, any given game you can say, see, this is why we should have kept Kim, or another game you can say, oh, this is why we should have kept Freeland. Now, chessboard baseball slightly favors Freeland, and we'll talk about Freeland when we get to him. Just different things, and you'll see a little bit more production, even though batting average may be lower, OPS may be lower than Kim. But 871 chessboard baseball score for Kim, 131 plate appearances. Solid. I think Kim's a solid player, solid approach at the plate. It's not that it was terrible or anything like that. It's just what it is, right? But yes, 871 for Kim at number 14. And this one, oh man. So this is one of those ones where, you build a system, you feel good about the system, you deploy it, and I'm not saying, so this is very tough, but it's explainable, right? Because, this is a system that is not biased, and it's not just result. Like, if you see batting average, it's just results. You don't get told the full story. OPS, you're not told the full story. Chessboard baseball combined with those metrics, I think, tells you a little bit of a better story, I think. And this is why I love this metric so much, even if it comes with results like Andy Pages being number 13 with the season that he's having, that he'll likely be an all-star and everything like that. I mean, look at his numbers, right? His numbers right now even though they've been dipping, because if we were to do this a month ago, numbers would be even more insane. Um, but even these numbers with the recent struggles that he's had, 272 batting average, 809 OPS, 15 home runs in 75 games, 56 RBI in 75 games with 89.8 exit velo. So he's definitely destroying the baseball as well. And you're like, how is he number 13 on the team? And again, so and this is the other interesting thing as well. Like there's like at least 4 or 5 players who are all bunched up here with similar scores, with 9.01 through 9.10, meaning that give it another series, and maybe next series, Pages will catapult them, depending on the quality plate appearances that he has moving forward. But this is the one complaint that I think we can all point out to about Andy Pages is he has a crazy amount of poor quality plate appearances. He just does. I mean, how many times does he swing at pitches that are way outside the strike zone? And in that same token, how many times does he swing at a ball that is outside the strike zone, makes contact, puts it in play, and gets a single or gets a double? And one of the things that Chessboard Baseball does is even if you get a positive outcome, on a play or any given at bat or plate appearance, it penalizes you for chasing. It penalizes you for a broken process and swinging at pitches that are outside the strike zone. So even yesterday, he had a single on a pitch that was way outside the strike zone. And you're like, well, batting average looks good. OPS looks good. Everything that you'd imagine looks good. But Chessboard Baseball penalizes that approach because, again, it emphasizes process over outcome. And Pages just really has so many plate appearances, a lot more than everybody else, that are really, that get a really bad score. So when you average, right, you can have a -9 plate appearance and then have a 10 for a single. So you average, like the worst that you do, your average is going to continue to come down, or your rating for Chessboard Baseball is going to continue to come down. So that's the thing with Pages. And I think that's something that the Dodgers understand, right? Is the risk that, yeah, we're going to send out Pages out. We're going to send Pages out there. The likelihood of him driving runs in, which is what wins you baseball games, is high. If he's got power, he can deliver in the clutch. Sure, hit him second, but the risk is, yeah, we understand that his plate discipline and his quality of plate appearances is not that solid. So I think that's why, Chessboard Baseball penalizes heavily players like Andy Pages, even with the production that they're having, because any given plate appearance, you could have a 70% process score and only 30% result. And that's just based on how strikes get scored and how balls get scored. And he doesn't walk a lot. And we're going to talk about someone who walks just as much as Pages so far this season, with like 1/3 of the plate appearances. But yes, number 13, as surprising as it is Andy Pages. But again, I just don't want the system to be, oh, wow, this is an indicator. This is not a war, like indicator of whether they're a good hitter or a good player. This is an indicator of how often this player delivers quality plate appearances, meaning, do they swing at strikes? Do they don't, lay off bad pitches? Do they not strike out a lot, meaning put the ball in play while the ball is actually in the strike zone? All of these different things. And Pages is just not going to be a star in this. But in the same token, this system can give you an indicator of whether or not certain performances can be sustainable. And me looking at Chessboard Baseball, I kind of knew. So I saw this struggle and this return to, Pages to where he is now. Through Chessboard Baseball, I said, if he continues to have a broken process, how often can he deliver results? And this is the same for any company, any industry that you may be in at work, right? You're like, oh yeah, this, there's a person that might be shining for a short period of time. Maybe he's killing it. They're killing it in 1 quarter. But you're seeing that the process that you're following is not sustainable. Yeah, this is good for a quarter, meaning that they're not getting enough sleep, maybe they're not eating right, all these different things. That's not sustainable over time. If process is broken, you can only do something well for a short period of time. And that's the same thing how I see and view Pajes. Pajes is like, yeah, if I were to compare what Pajes was as this person who's getting no sleep, maybe getting 3-4 hours of sleep a night, eating McDonald's every day, but coming into work and crushing it. You know what I mean? Like they're coming into work, they're crushing it, but the process is a disaster. It may not be sustainable. But Pajes is number 13. Okay, so number 12 is Ryan Ward. And you see the Chessboard Baseball rating is 0.01 above Pajes. This can change tomorrow easily, right? Pajes could be 12 tomorrow easily. 9.02, Ryan Ward. But look at the production by Ryan Ward in 46 plate appearances. If we look back at Kim, 131 plate appearances, meaning almost 100 more plate appearances than Ryan Ward. And Ryan Ward has 2 more home runs and the same amount of RBI than Ha-Seong Kim. But look at this batting. I mean, when you look at batting average, 46 plate appearances, but batting average 256, OPS 862, exit velocity, he's destroying the ball. This is even higher than Pajes, 89.9 exit velo. Ryan Ward, his process can be shaky at times. He has some ugly strikeouts. But again, the disadvantage with Ward, I think, over anyone else is his lack of experience of hitting major league pitching. So right now, it's like he was playing easy mode, and now suddenly he's playing hard mode and he's trying to catch up to the hard mode that the pitchers are swinging. But even with that, he's adjusting just fine. I think Ward is a little bit better process wise, I think. I mean, he can be, but right now he's trying to figure it out on the go. And I think, given that, I would think Ward would be a little bit lower, trying to get used to all that. But no, he's holding his own and really producing for the Dodgers so far. So I've been surprised or pleasantly surprised by what Ryan Ward has brought to the Dodgers, and he is currently number 12 Chessboard Baseball rating, 9.02. Like we said, only 0.01 above Andy Pajes, and this small sample size, I really can't say much about Ward. He struggled just as much. His plate appearances really look just like Dalton Rushing's plate appearances. Like sometimes when Ward or Rushing come into play, it's like, to me, it's almost the same player, and Freeland to an extent as well. But I think Ward and Rushing are a lot more similar in their approach and what they can bring to the Dodgers. So that's Ward, number 12. And number 11, Dalton Rushing. And, and this is the interesting thing between the two of them. So, I mean, they're identified as pawns, but look at how similar these numbers are. And this is why I compare it. To me, it's almost the same. But yeah, Dalton Rushing, number 11, 9.04. So, and again, only 0.02 points above Ward, only 0.03 points above Pajes. They're all right there. Again, tomorrow Pajes could go above both of them. So 264 batting average. This is a bigger sample size than Ward, which makes these numbers a lot more impressive, right? I mean, 46 plate appearances for Ward, 0.8, what was it? 0.862 OPS, but 142 plate appearances, maintaining 0.869 OPS is super impressive for Rushing. The only downside for Rushing really is the same thing with Pajes. It's just that he's prone to a lot of bad and terrible plate appearances. So, you'll have those scores that are just going to damage your overall rating. But when he's on and he can deliver. I mean, look at 8 home runs, 21 RBI, almost the same amount. And this is not to knock Kim, but it's good to compare. If we look back at Kim, 131 plate appearances, Dalton Rushing, 142 plate appearances, 7 more home runs, 10 more RBI than Kim. He's a backup, part-time catcher, and now getting a little bit more playing time that Will Smith is out. But yeah, really good production by Rushing. Only thing with the rating is, again, that his chessboard baseball rating would be it would be more solid if the quality of his plate appearances were a little bit better over a certain period of time. All right, so now we get into the top 10 of chessboard baseball ratings through 75 games this year. And we're going to start to see some more familiar faces here. And this is the interesting thing about chessboard baseball. And again, Freeland, that same range of everyone else. And Freeland is just the example of maybe low production, but really good and sound quality plate appearances. Like, out of all these players, let's see, out of all these players that we've mentioned so far, Espinal, Kim, Pajes, Ward, Rushing, Freeland is the most disciplined at the plate, is the one who, he won't chase that often. Now, he strikes out a lot, and I don't know if this is something that he can change, because it's not processed necessarily. Like, he'll strike out swinging at pitches in the strike zone, different than Pajes and Rushing and Ward, who will strike out looking silly on pitches that are way outside the strike zone. Freeland will strike out swinging at strikes, but he'll strike out. He struggles from time to time making contact with the ball, even though he can correctly identify it as a strike, he can't catch up to it. He's been struggling catching up to fastball, like really fast fastballs. And you're like, man, you're doing great, but you gotta hit the fastball. You gotta hit the ball. So his 228 batting average, 644 OPS. But look at that exit velocity. When he does hit, he rocks the ball. 169 plate appearances, 3 home runs, 17 RBI. That is good production from your 9th hitter, through 75 games. So let's say 100 more games. He's on track to finish with maybe 6-7 home runs. Now, that's not great. Maybe 40 RBIs. Hopefully he picks that up. But the good thing about Freeland and his approach and quality, right? So is that he's hitting 9th for the Dodgers, and he can get on base as well. And he has almost as many walks as Andy Pajes. Yeah, Andy Pajes has like 200, almost 200 more plate appearances than he does. So that's another difference there in process, that Freeland is there as far as process. Like, he's got it. He can put up quality plate appearances, put the ball in play, and not chase as often as everyone else does. But the problem still remains his production. You just hope that he can put the ball in play a little bit more often and that he can produce. But right now, from all the batting averages that we've seen, his is the lowest so far and the lowest OPS. So if we look back, yep, these are monster OPS from Ward and Rushing, monster OPS from Pajes, better batting average and OPS than Freeland, better batting average and OPS than Freeland, even with Espinal. The differentiator for Freeland is the quality plate appearances and a better process when he steps up to the plate, identifying strikes and identifying balls and strikes. But I think he can improve. I think you see flashes of Freeland, especially I think it was yesterday when he came through, when he was hitting from the right side of the plate, and he was able to get that hit to drive in a run. So you can see flashes. Hopefully he can continue to improve. But number 10 is Freeland. Mookie Betts, and another one. I mean, this Mookie Betts has even worse batting average and OPS than Freeland, and Freeland was already low, and Mookie Betts is even lower. But you see his production is still good. So 7 home runs, 18 RBIs in 173 plate appearances. So that it's okay. Also, with Mookie Betts, what I've observed this whole entire time is that his process is fine. His process is super solid. Before he went to the DL, I thought his process was a little bit more broken. I thought he was chasing a lot. He had no idea. It seemed to me he had no idea what he was doing at the plate. Not only struggling to produce, but also just yielding terrible chessboard baseball scores. But since coming back from the DL, yes, his production is not there. He's not getting the results, but process-wise, he's doing really, really well. So he's got a 917 chessboard baseball rating, which is way above, not way above, but it's now a ways from Pages and from the other players that we mentioned that were all bunched up in that same range. Betts has separated himself a little bit from that, according to Chessboard Baseball, because he doesn't strike out a lot, and he puts the ball in play. Like, how often? And that's the issue. Like, a lot of the outs that Mookie Betts has, they're hard hit balls. Like, it's him lining out. Like yesterday, how many times did he line out, or one defensive placement away from the ball going through for a base hit, because he's really hitting it good and hitting it hard, but straight at defenders. And what can he do but continue to try to find those holes? But he's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting the ball while it's in the strike zone. He is, process wise, doing well. But we're conditioned to see batting average. So say we never watch any games and we just say, oh, let me see how the Dodgers are doing. Oh my God, Mookie Betts, he should be sent down to AAA, 203 batting average, because we're so result driven. Same thing with OPS, 633 OPS. But when you watch the game and you try to analyze and evaluate these players, Mookie Betts is not what, I don't think his performance has been a reflection of what batting average is saying or what OPS is saying, because his approach has been good, and to me he has just been unlucky. And on the other token, if we look at Andy Pages, he's been lucky. Like, how many times there was a stretch of games where I thought, what is happening here? Like, the luck of Andy Pages was crazy. He was hitting balls way outside the strike zone, and then there were bloopers to, I don't know, balls hit softly to shallow right, and the defender made a terrible play that really, the play could have been scored on error easily, but they gave him a double on a it's like a double. And you know how much double it's added to, adds to your OPS? It's a lot. But again, if you see a Mookie Betts play that he hits the cover off the ball and the center fielder makes an absolutely great play, OPS is going to say, oh my God, Pages, just on that's just one example, right? Pages chasing outside the strike zone, hitting the ball, what should be an easy out. He scored a double because of a bad defensive play. And then Mookie Betts hitting the cover off the ball with a defender making an absolute great play. That's just a hit and negative towards batting average and OPS. So those are the differences that we're talking about. But come playoff time, all that luck and everything goes away, and now you're left with the hitter. And I'd rather have Mookie Betts all day, every day. And even look at that exit velo. He's over 90. He's rocking. I think this is the first time that we see an over 90 exit velo so far as we've done these rankings. So does he need to start producing? Yes, of course. Absolutely. We all want to see results. Is he struggling with these conversations? And this is what I don't like. It's all these conversations like, what's wrong with Mookie Betts? Oh, I have the mechanics, this, that, all because of these results. He's fine. That's just what drives me crazy. And one of the reasons why I love Chessboard Baseball, that is telling you a much different story than these other statistics that we're used to seeing. And this is not like, oh, this is advanced statistics. This is not advanced statistics. This is process, evaluating the process of a baseball player and how they conduct themselves at the plate. That's it. That's all it is. Not analytical. It's not, oh, how, this is just mostly process driven metric. All right. So number 8, Miguel Rojas. So Miguel Rojas, number 8, but he's kind of, him and Mookie Betts are right there fighting for the number 8 spot. He comes in at 919. He's been doing a lot better lately. Like if you see the past, I don't know, for the past couple of weeks, Rojas has just been, every time his number's called, he either delivers, he puts up quality plate appearances. Almost feels like if he makes contact in some way, he'll find a hole somewhere. If you look at his numbers, 269 batting average, 698 OPS, really good, solid for what you want for your backup utility player. Or well, he's a utility infielder, mostly second base or shortstop, but he's been fine. So 124 plate appearances, 2 home run, 12 RBI, 87.2 exit velo. It's not terrible. Rojas has really been solid. He's been a lot better than I thought he would be at this point. And then it was awesome to see a couple of days ago, I think it was, where he hit that home run again, reminiscent of the World Series shot in Game 7 that he hit to really give the Dodgers the victory over Tampa Bay. So, yeah, Rojas at number 8. I'm surprised to see it, but he's been delivering both with good process and good results so far. So, really props to Miguel Rojas so far. Number 7, Teoscar Hernandez. So now you start to see the real separations in Chessboard Baseball rating. From number 7 on this is just a whole different tier of players and how they're performing through Chessboard Baseball. So Teoscar is one of them. Look at these numbers: 276 batting average, 784 OPS. Hernandez even surprised me because he started the season struggling pretty bad, especially with Chessboard Baseball rating, where he seemed lost at the plate, swinging at everything. Really, really horrendous plate appearances for Teoscar Hernandez process-wise. But then right before, there was a stretch leading up to his injury where he was amazing. Like he was putting up super quality plate appearances and producing a lot. So look, 207 plate appearances, 7 home run, 31 RBI, and also crushing the baseball at 89.8 exit velo. Teoscar was really solid before the injury, which you kind of feel for him there. But yeah, Teoscar, I had no complaint. He was good. I was complaining, and of course, you complain about his defense in left field is not the best, and sometimes he can be frustrating. But he was really solid before he left, so it was good to see. And yeah, and Chessboard Baseball agrees. 9.47 for Teoscar at number 7. 6 is Max Muncy, and I'm surprised he's not a little bit higher. But again, now he separated a whole nother category above Teoscar Hernandez. So this is the elite. I think anyone who's at the Max Muncy 9.8, these are the elite hitters. And again, but elite at quality plate appearances plus delivering outstanding result, right? Because sometimes they're fighting that plate appearance process versus result, but these are the ones who are at the top of both process and result. What Muncy, it's more doing it with result than process, because Muncy is also prone to having having a stretch of putting up terrible plate appearances. And that's the reason why his Chessboard Baseball rating is not higher than this, there should be, is because Muncy has had a number of plate appearances that have scored really, really low, like towards the lowest of the lowest. And then that hurts you when then you put up monster plate appearances. But Muncy's been great. Overall, Muncy has been one of the best Dodgers, without a doubt. I think it's been Ohtani, Freeman, Muncy, in my opinion, as far as and after Muncy, Pages, even though Pages here is number 13, but you got to give it to Pages. But I think it's been Ohtani, Freeman, Muncy, Pages. That's me, right? Like my own personal list. not necessarily chessboard baseball rating wise, but he's been great. 265 batting average, 887 OPS, 16 home runs, which still leading the team, 28 RBI, because most of those home runs have been solo shots. And 90.3 exit velo, so he's crushing the baseball with 259 plate appearances. Muncy has been amazing. I didn't even know he had it in him to have a season like this and have the production that he's had. He's on pace for over 30 home runs, and his process when he wants to, when he comes in and he's solid, it can be really really good. But sometimes he's lost. So that's the problem with the consistency, right? There's some players who are consistent every single day. They dominate the strike zone, they dominate the plate appearance and put up quality plate appearances. You can probably guess who those are. Some are sometimes they can do no wrong at the plate as far as identifying everything they're on, but sometimes not. And Muncy's one of those who maybe has suffered a little bit from that inconsistency. But production wise, a beast. Number 5, Shohei Ohtani. But we're already at the top 5. So these are the best of the best, of course. And of course, Shohei Ohtani to me has not only been number 1 in the Dodgers, but I mean, he offensively. So number 5, chessboard baseball rating is just because of the process. Sometimes the same thing that we said about Max Muncy is the same thing with Shohei Ohtani as far as quality of plate appearances. And you can see that. I don't know if sometimes he just gives up on a plate appearance and he can look silly and have a very low chessboard baseball score for any given plate appearance, but then he's got monster days, right? But when you put it all together, he's the best offensive player on the Dodgers. I mean, there's nothing you can say about that. But of course, chessboard baseball gives him a 9.94 chessboard baseball rating. He was a little bit higher. He was in the 10s, but just the recent games lowered him a little bit. But that's just the thing with Ohtani, right? And the same thing that I said about Max Muncy. There are games where I watch Ohtani and his control and domination of the strike zone is insane. Meaning that he'll identify every pitch, he'll swing at only strikes, and have monster games. And then there are other days where you wonder, like, is this guy really a baseball player? Like, chasing like crazy balls that are way outside the strike zone. There was one, I think it was in this series. There was a sequence in which and Shohei Ohtani doesn't challenge pitches a lot. I mean, he does more as a pitcher than he does as a hitter. He barely challenges as a hitter. But he challenged one that was a ball in, right? It was a ball in, and he was able to identify. He challenged, and he got it right. But then I think the very next pitch, he swung at a pitch that was even more inside than that one. So he's like, bro, that's a ball. You just challenged one knowing there's a ball, and now you're swinging at one that was even more inside. So even pitch by pitch, you never know whether you're gonna get super disciplined Ohtani or you're just gonna get wildly swinging Ohtani, right? But that's why he's able to get these monster OPSs as well. I mean, he knows he's got power, so he just risked it. He said, "All right, I'm just gonna guess on this one, and hopefully I guess right and send this shit into the stands." And that's what I think. Players like Ohtani who give you high risk, high reward. Chessboard baseball rating, he may not be at the top, although he could still be at the top of when the season ends. There's still over halfway of the season to go, and he's sitting at a good spot. But yeah, he's currently number 5 and put in monster numbers. I mean, 296 batting average is the best in the team right now as we do these rankings. 963 OPS is the best in the team as we do these rankings. 15 home runs. He is only second to Max Muncy, who has 16. 42 RBI. He's only second to Pages, who has 56. 93.7 exit velocity. That's the best one on the team. 318 plate appearances. Shohei Ohtani is 100% crushing it. So, Chessboard Baseball rating, it's 994, number 5th in the team, but that's still super respectable rating. So he is in the elite category of Chessboard Baseball rating. Number 4, Kyle Tucker. Now, Kyle Tucker has been, I don't know, I see everywhere he's just crushed in social media. And is he not worth the contract? And I'm not here to tell you that he is. He's getting paid a ridiculous amount of money, and I don't know what the acceptable, production is for anyone to justify the money that the Dodgers are paying him. It is possible, of course, and I think that he's underperforming, especially given his career and previous years. So he's not performing um, to the expectation that what we expect out of Kyle Tucker. But his process is still fine. I mean, yes, he swings a lot at first pitches, but there's a strikes that are in the strike zone. So it's not as much that he swings at first pitches. It's just that he swings at anything that's a strike. And I think that's just in what appears to me just the DNA of Kyle Tucker. If it's a strike, he's going to swing at it. And for whatever reason, um, pitchers like to throw strikes to Kyle Tucker. It's just what it is. Yeah, he doesn't walk a lot, but it's because pitchers want to throw him strikes. There's another player here that we're going to talk about who's a lot less dangerous than Tucker or anybody else in the Dodgers, but pitchers don't want to throw strikes to him. So, I mean, I don't know how this works, but pitchers do like to throw strikes at Tucker, and he's going to swing at it. He just is. Now, from my point of view, he hasn't really struck out that much. There's a lot of series. There's some series that he goes without striking out at all. He puts the ball in play all the time. And I think just like Mookie Betts, he has been a little bit unlucky with some of these outcomes. But as of late, he's kind of he's been finding some holes, and he hit a big home run the other day, and he's performing a little bit better. But yes, his process has been solid. I mean, Kyle Tucker has been the most consistent so far that I've seen, according to Chessboard Baseball. So he's one of the only players, one of the 4 players who's got a 10 or above Chessboard Baseball rating. So that is crazy, but that speaks more to his consistency of quality plate appearances than it does, of course, his production, because his production is not quite there. For someone like Kyle Tucker, he's got one of the lowest batting averages on the team with 241, and OPS is fine. He's 726, but he's only got 6 home runs. 40 RBI is pretty good. 40 RBI is one of the top ones in the team. 88.8 exit velo is respectable. Tucker's been fine, and I project that he's going to finish with way much better numbers, and he may even finish with 100 RBI. And if he finishes the season with 100 RBI, would you then, or anyone, say that the contract was worth it? I don't know. I just don't really know the number that people have in their minds of what Kyle Tucker should be producing for the Dodgers. But yeah, 10.09 Chessboard Baseball rating. Solid stuff for Tucker from my point of view. Of course, I want to see more production, but I have no complaints. He's fine. I don't have a magical number of what he should be producing for his contract, but I don't know. And then we go to Will Smith, and Will Smith has a crazy high Chessboard Baseball rating for the production that he's put out there, right? He's got a Chessboard Baseball rating of 1023. That is really high. That's separating himself quite a bit from everybody else. And then we're talking about a similar batting average to Kyle Tucker and a similar OPS to Kyle Tucker. Same home runs as Kyle Tucker. Less RBIs. He's got 23 RBI. Of course, he's got 100 plate appearances less than Kyle Tucker. So that's a whole different conversation. He's hitting the ball really well at 90.1 exit velo. Will Smith is just, to me, as impressive as Freddie Freeman at the plate as far as discipline and process. That is one thing that you know for a fact that Will Smith is going to give you, and that's going to be a quality plate appearance, meaning swinging at strikes, laying off bad pitches, putting the ball in play, doesn't strike out a lot, consistent production, meaning that, okay, he's not destroying it, but it's not like he's not giving you anything. He'll give you something, he doesn't go on crazy stretches without giving you anything at all. He's just a professional baseball player hitter. Really reminds me, he's right-handed Freddie Freeman, in my opinion. Um, and that's the thing. Like when he makes it out, even when he strikes out, his chessboard baseball score is all right. He doesn't dip, and that's the thing with Smith, right? Like the difference with Muncy is that Muncy can have a crazy bad plate appearance, which dips his chessboard baseball rating, or a super high one that then throws it all the way up. Smith is just steady, it's just steady throughout. And that's just what it is. Maybe when he starts producing, his chessboard baseball rating is going to catapult. Because imagine him producing, having an 800 some OPS or a 300 batting average, and he is more than capable of having a 900 OPS. That was his total OPS last season. So yeah, I think Will Smith is a super professional hitter. Of course, you want more production. This is not chessboard baseball. Is not here debating whether he's been great or he's been bad. He's just been consistent as far as delivering quality plate appearances, time after time. So top three, in the top three, is Will Smith. And again, there's been a lot of chatter saying, "Well, Will Smith, what's wrong with Will Smith? He's not producing, whatever, whatever." One thing that I can tell you is that at least his process at the plate has been consistently good. And number two, Freddie Freeman. I thought Freddie Freeman would be, I mean, look at that chessboard baseball score. Holy smokes. 10.51. I really thought this system was almost built for Freddie Freeman. And he didn't disappoint. Batting average 279, OPS 850, 12 home runs, 40 RBI, 90.8 exit velo. I mean, he's giving you queen type production. Freddie Freeman is just amazing at everything. He produces, he's got a solid process. Freddie Freeman is Freddie Freeman. What are you going to say? 10.51 chessboard baseball rating, like I said. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can tell you about Freddie Freeman and his approach or his process at the plate. He'll chase every now and then, but it's not consistent. What he'll give you is consistent quality plate appearances. He's super clutch. He knows the strike zone. He dominates it. And this is not a, pitch by pitch or plate appearance or a day by day thing. This is an everyday thing by Freddie Freeman that you can always expect from him when he comes up to the plate, is that the process is extremely sound. So not spending too much time with Freddie Freeman. Now, the number one, and this is the super surprising one. It may surprise some of you, it may not. But number one, chessboard baseball rating, and look at that ridiculous chessboard baseball rating, is Alex Call, 11.03 chessboard baseball rating. And I think this is a perfect combination of a lot of different things. And first, let's look at, batting average 258. Okay, mediocre. OPS 689. I mean, you're like, this dude should not be number one on anything. He's got no home runs. 14 RBI in 107 plate appearances is pretty impressive. Now, 83.7 exit velo. This dude can't, doesn't hit the ball hard at all. But it's a combination of a lot of different things. Number one, this dude has the eye of an eagle, right? I mean, this dude's eye is insane. Discipline is insane. And you combine that with the fact that, and I just don't get it. I don't get if pitchers come in and they don't read about Alex Call, or if there's something magical happening around Alex Call. But pitchers don't throw strikes to this guy. I just don't understand. There was this Rays pitcher, I think it was McClanahan, who was striking out everybody, did not walk anybody. He was, challenging Pages, challenging Freeman, challenging Ohtani, throwing strikes to him. When he came to Call, walked him on four pitches. I just, The dude who has the lowest exit velo on the team, who hasn't hit a home run all season, and I'm not saying it's not that the pitchers are scared. I'm sure they're not. They just won't throw strikes to him. And so when it comes to process, if you don't want to throw strikes to someone as disciplined with the eye of Alex Call, then you're gonna put him on base all the time. It's just what it is. So again, I mean, how often have you seen Alex Call swing at a pitch outside the strike zone? It's just not very often. Shit doesn't happen. It just really doesn't. The guy lives for getting on base and walking. And then when you have a system, you develop a system like this, because this left me scratching my head. Of course, I see the numbers and I'm like, how can the system justify having Alex Cole number one when it comes to chessboard baseball? And if it's a system that rewards process more than results, I don't think we can really single out any other Dodger. And again, it's 107 plate appearances. If you go to 300 plate appearances, this may go down quite a bit. But so far, with the sample size that we do have, I don't think there's been another Dodger player with a better process at the plate than Alex Call. And when I mean process, is again just the ability to lay off bad pitches, swing at strikes, put the ball in play, not strike out as much. And here's the other thing with Alex Call. He's got 14 walks and 16 strikeouts. So he's almost walked more often than he struck out, which is crazy to me. Um, But yeah, I mean, I do suspect that this number will go down, and I don't believe that Alex Cole will finish the season number one in chessboard baseball rating, only because again, there's been just a crazy combination of, the perfect storm of pitchers not wanting to throw strikes to the most disciplined hitter in the Dodgers, and who's zero threat to do any damage to you, which so they should be throwing nothing but strikes to him, but they don't. I don't know why. So there's that perfect storm of pitchers not throwing strikes and Alex Cole having a great eye and great discipline. Does this mean Alex Cole is the best player, the best offensive player on the Dodgers? Of course not. And that's not what chessboard baseball is out here to measure. It's only here to measure quality plate appearances combined with the results as well, but more emphasis on the process than results. Um, and that's how we end up with Alex Call here being number one. So that's it for the chessboard baseball ranking of the first 75 games of the Dodgers 2026 season. I'm really curious to see what you think, what your thoughts are. Number one, on the results. If you have some questions about the system, if you want to be a part of the system, I would love to have more people participating, because again, it's only me and I'm only able to do the Dodgers, but I would love to see, what are some chessboard baseball scores for players on other teams. Just more discussion about the system. How can we maybe make it better? Does it provide any value? Can you look at chessboard baseball and combine it with other stats? Not meaning that this is going to replace anything else like WAR, but can you combine chessboard baseball with others and maybe try to find, and evaluate and look at players from a different lens by using chessboard baseball. But again, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. It's a super long video and I'm not that entertaining of a dude, so my apologies for that. I'm trying to improve there as well, although I'm not here to entertain. I'm a systems guy, I'm a thinker, I'm an ideas guy. So but I'll continue to post up videos and continue to do this and see how we can maybe better the system, or have better conversations or fresher conversations about baseball. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.